What if the person you trust the most, the one you've let into your life, is hiding a dark, dangerous truth about themselves? A truth so well concealed that even you don't see it until it's too late. Could you recognize the signs that someone might be a psychopath before it's too late? Or are you unknowingly walking right into their web? In the next few minutes, we'll uncover 5 red flags that will tell you if you're dealing with a psychopath, and how Stoic wisdom can help you protect yourself before you get caught in their manipulation. Emotional connection. You've trusted people before, maybe even let your guard down. But what if there's a hidden threat you didn't see coming? What if it's not just about trust, it's about survival? It's time to learn how to spot the danger and how Stoicism can be your shield. We all know the value of trust, but there are times when that trust can be used against us. In a world where emotional manipulation is common, the ability to see through the facade of those around us becomes crucial. What if someone in your life is pretending to be a friend, a partner, or even a mentor, but in reality, they are a predator hiding behind a mask? Psychopaths are often experts at gaining your trust and weaving a convincing story. The signs are subtle, at first hidden behind charm or cunning behavior. The challenge is, these manipulations often go unnoticed until they have already deeply affected us. But there are warning signs you can watch for. In this video, we'll dive into the 5 red flags that reveal a person's true intentions, so you can protect yourself from falling victim to their toxic influence. Better yet, we'll show how Stoic principles, rooted in the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and other Stoic philosophers, can help you stay grounded, vigilant, and emotionally resilient in the face of manipulative behavior. Stoicism teaches you to remain calm, not to react impulsively, and to assess situations with clarity. Skills that can prevent you from being manipulated. It's not just about knowing who to trust, it's about being able to see through the masks people wear and using Stoic wisdom to keep your peace and protect your life. Don't let the invisible threat of manipulation control you. Learn how to spot it and safeguard yourself with the strength of Stoicism. Red flag. 1. The charm that masks the danger. One of the most dangerous traits of a psychopath is their overwhelming charm and charisma. They have an uncanny ability to captivate and make an immediate, deep connection with others, often leaving you feeling like you've known them for years after just one conversation. They have a knack for making people feel special and understood, playing on their desires for validation and approval. At first, this charm seems harmless, maybe even flattering, but in reality, it is a weapon. Psychopaths often use their charisma as a tool to manipulate, getting you to drop your guard and trust them quickly. This is the first step in creating a psychological bond that makes it easier to exploit and control you. It's a well-crafted mask that hides the true nature of their intentions. They want you to feel special and secure, which primes you to be more open to their manipulation when it eventually occurs. In this situation, Stoic wisdom offers a crucial counterbalance. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, taught that we should judge a person's character based on their actions, not their words. Psychopaths are experts at saying all the right things. They'll flatter, compliment, and express an immediate understanding of your deepest needs and desires. But words, especially charming words, are often empty if not backed by consistent, virtuous action. The Stoic principle of discernment teaches us to resist being swept away by charm or superficial emotions. As Epictetus advised, we should maintain a clear and objective view of people. In other words, do not allow yourself to be swayed by the allure of someone's charisma. Instead, practice self-control, take a step back, and observe how they behave over time. Their true character will be revealed through their actions, not just their polished words. This principle is particularly important when it comes to spotting toxic or dangerous individuals like psychopaths. When someone comes on too strong with excessive charm, the Stoic approach would be to pause and evaluate whether their actions align with their words. Are they showing integrity? Do they treat others with respect? Or are they using manipulation tactics to gain your trust and influence your decision? The Stoic lesson here is clear. Don't rush into relationships or judgments. Whether it's a new romantic partner, colleague, or friend, take the time to observe their character over time. Emotional attachment and initial charm may cloud your judgment, but a Stoic mindset encourages you to stay grounded and assess the situation objectively. Only then can you make decisions that protect your inner peace and well-being. Ultimately, the lesson is not to dismiss people outright based on first impressions, but to be vigilant and patient. Psychopaths thrive on quick emotional connections, but Stoic wisdom reminds us that true trust is built over time through consistent, honorable actions. Red flag: behavior and emotional manipulation. One of the most manipulative tactics used by psychopaths is their ability to exhibit inconsistent behavior, switching between extreme love and cruelty or intense attention and complete neglect. These mood swings are not accidental, they are intentional. The psychopath creates emotional chaos, making you feel uncertain and confused about their true feelings toward you. One moment they may shower you with affection, and the next they can be cold, distant, or even hostile. This inconsistency is designed to manipulate your emotions, pulling you in with moments of warmth and affection, only to push you away when you're emotionally vulnerable. The goal is to create a psychological push-pull dynamic where you are constantly seeking their approval or love. This emotional roller coaster can leave you feeling emotionally exhausted, doubting your self-worth, and questioning the stability of the relationship. The Stoics provide powerful wisdom to help guard against such emotional manipulation. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, warned against letting others dictate our emotions. He argued that we must not be slaves to external events or the unpredictable behaviors of others. Instead, we should cultivate emotional stability and self-control, ensuring that our peace is not contingent on how others treat us. Seneca's teachings encourage us to recognize that external events, such as the behavior of a psychopath, are beyond our control. We cannot force others to act a certain way or be consistent in their behavior. However, we can control how we react. By detaching ourselves emotionally from the whims of others, we can maintain a sense of calm and inner peace, regardless of how chaotic or unpredictable their behavior may be. When dealing with someone who exhibits emotional inconsistency, the Stoic approach is to guard your peace and not react impulsively. This means not allowing their cruelty or affection to dictate your emotional state. Instead of being swept up in their emotional turbulence, a Stoic would take a step back, acknowledge the situation, and choose not to engage in the emotional drama. This is not to say you should become cold or indifferent to others, but rather you should avoid becoming emotionally dependent on them for validation or stability. In practical terms, this could look like recognizing when a person's behavior is unpredictable or manipulative and choosing not to internalize their actions. For example, if a psychopath suddenly becomes cold or distant after a period of closeness, you might recognize it as a manipulation tactic rather than something to internalize. Instead of feeling anxious or hurt, you can remind yourself that their behavior is not a reflection of your worth, but rather a product of their manipulative nature. In doing so, you practice emotional detachment, allowing you to respond to the situation with calm, reason, and clarity. By refusing to be emotionally controlled by the inconsistencies of others, you maintain a sense of inner calm and empower yourself to make decisions based on logic and wisdom, rather than being swayed by emotional turmoil. Ultimately, the Stoic principle of emotional detachment serves as a protective mechanism. By not allowing the emotional highs and lows of others to dictate your internal state, you create a solid foundation of peace and stability. This allows you to deal with emotionally manipulative individuals like psychopaths with a clear mind, without losing yourself in their emotional games. Red flag. 3. Lack of empathy and moral compass. One of the most dangerous characteristics of a psychopath is their lack of empathy and absence of conscience. Unlike most people who experience feelings of guilt or remorse when they harm others, a psychopath is incapable of feeling these emotions. They can cause immense suffering and distress without a second thought or any acknowledgement of the harm they have inflicted. This complete absence of empathy enables them to manipulate and exploit others for personal gain without any moral hesitation. Psychopaths do not view their actions through the lens of right or wrong. They do not feel the ethical weight of their behavior, nor do they have any concern for the emotional or physical well-being of others. They are masters of self-interest, using whatever tools they can, charm, deceit, manipulation, to achieve their goals, regardless of the consequences for those around them. Their lack of remorse allows them to move through the world with calculated indifference to the suffering they cause. In stark contrast, Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, taught that virtue should be the guiding force in one's life. For Marcus and other Stoics, living a good life was not about achieving power, wealth, or status. It was about striving for justice, integrity, wisdom, and kindness. A Stoic is not only concerned with their actions, but also with their internal moral compass. They work to align their behavior with virtue, ensuring that every choice they make is one that contributes to a life of meaning and goodness. Marcus Aurelius even wrote in his Meditations that we should strive to act according to nature and virtue, emphasizing the importance of personal responsibility and self-improvement. The psychopath's inability to feel empathy or guilt is a sharp departure from the Stoic ideal. While a Stoic seeks to cultivate a life that benefits others and contributes to the greater good, a psychopath is entirely self-serving, manipulating and hurting others for their personal advantage. This lack of empathy allows them to justify harmful behaviors, such as lying, cheating, or exploiting others, without any moral conflict. Their actions are driven purely by the desire for power, control, and gratification, with no regard for the impact they have on those around them. In Stoic philosophy, virtue, the practice of wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice, is the foundation of a good life. To live virtuously is to make decisions based on what is morally right, rather than based on personal desires or the influence of others. For a Stoic, ethical behavior is not optional. It is a core principle that informs every interaction and every decision. This contrasts sharply with the behavior of psychopaths, who view others as tools to be used for their own benefit. The Stoic lesson is clear. By practicing virtue, by living with integrity, justice, and empathy, you create a foundation of moral clarity that protects you from those who lack these qualities. The Stoics also teach the importance of discernment, the ability to recognize the character of those around us. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, we are surrounded by people with different values, and it is important to judge others based on their actions, not their words. Psychopaths, for example, may appear charming or persuasive, but their lack of virtue is revealed through their actions, not their rhetoric. A Stoic would encourage you to recognize the signs of a person's true character, whether it is a lack of empathy, integrity, or moral responsibility, and to distance yourself from those who operate without virtue. The Stoic approach to handling those who lack empathy and moral conscience is to protect your own virtue and maintain a sense of moral clarity. When you interact with individuals who are guided solely by self-interest and who lack empathy for others, it is crucial to remain grounded in your own values and not be swayed by their manipulative tactics. By practicing virtue and self-control, you protect yourself from being exploited by those who seek to take advantage of your kindness, generosity, or emotional vulnerabilities. Ultimately, the Stoic lesson is to be aware of your surroundings and to guard your own virtue by choosing to engage with individuals who share your ethical values. Recognizing when someone operates without virtue, as psychopaths often do, enables you to protect yourself from manipulation and harm. By cultivating your own sense of virtue, you ensure that your actions are driven by moral integrity, not by the toxic influence of others. The moment of realization. When you see the true nature. The signs have been there, lingering just beneath the surface. The charm was too perfect, a magnetic force that drew you in almost effortlessly. You were captivated by the ease with which they made you feel special, as if you had found someone who truly understood you. But then the cracks began to appear. The emotional manipulation was subtle at first, just enough to make you question your own thoughts and feelings. You felt drained, unsure of where you stood, and unable to put your finger on why it all felt so off. Then came the realization, the lack of empathy, a coldness, an indifference to your pain, to others' suffering, as if their actions were justified no matter the consequences, and you were merely a pawn in their game. The cognitive dissonance is maddening. You want to confront them, to call out the manipulation. Your emotions are conflicted. On one hand, you know something is deeply wrong, and on the other, you're afraid of the fallout that could come from stepping away. The stakes are high. The emotional toll is mounting, and you feel trapped. Should you confront them? Should you walk away? The questions swirl in your mind, each one feeding the anxiety that keeps you stuck in the cycle. You are in a battle, but not with them. It's a battle for your own peace, your own sense of self. And then the shift happens. In the midst of the emotional chaos, a single thought cuts through the fog. You remember the words of Marcus Aurelius, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." It's as if a light bulb flickers on in your mind. You have the power, not to change them, not to control the situation, but to control yourself, to reclaim your peace and your mind. The realization is profound. The key to your freedom is not to confront them directly, but to disengage emotionally. By taking control of your thoughts and your emotions, you take back your power. In this moment, you see the situation for what it truly is. You understand that they are playing a game, using manipulation, charm, and inconsistency to control you. But their power lies only in your reaction. If you stop reacting, if you stop feeding into their drama, their manipulation loses its grip on you, and that's when the calm resolve sets in. Stoicism doesn't come with a dramatic confrontation, no explosive argument, no grand exit. Instead, it's quiet but powerful. You begin to distance yourself from the chaos, both physically and emotionally. You stop trying to fix the situation, stop trying to understand them. You stop engaging in their emotional games. You break free from their web of control by simply refusing to participate any longer. You don't need to fight them. You don't need to convince them of anything. The real power, the true power, lies in recognizing the manipulation early and making the conscious choice to walk away, to remove yourself from the situation without anger or bitterness, but with a quiet sense of resolve. The lesson is profound. You don't have to fight them. You simply have to reclaim control over your own mind and your peace. This moment of realization is not just a victory over them, it's a victory over your own emotional reaction. You have taken back control. You have freed yourself from their influence. You've learned that peace comes not from external circumstances, but from within. And once you learn to protect your own peace, nothing and no one can take it from you. You realize, as the Stoics taught, that you are the master of your mind. You are the one who decides where to direct your energy, how to react, and whether to engage with negativity. And in this moment, you choose peace. You choose freedom. You choose to walk away. Not because they've won, but because you've chosen to free yourself from their hold. And in doing so, you not only regain your power, you reclaim your life. Red flag 4. Disrespect for boundaries. One of the clearest red flags when dealing with a psychopath is their disrespect for boundaries. Psychopaths often disregard your physical, emotional, and mental limits as they attempt to control your space and life. Whether it's invading your personal space, pressuring you into uncomfortable situations, or attempting to control your decisions and relationships, this disregard for your boundaries is a deliberate tactic designed to assert their dominance. A psychopath's need for control means that your comfort zone is simply an obstacle in their quest to manipulate and dominate you. This may start subtly, a comment here, a suggestion there, but over time, these violations become more overt. They may insist on spending time with you when you're not ready, demand information you're not comfortable sharing, or guilt trip you into doing things that serve their agenda, all while making it seem like it's in your best interest. In a healthy relationship, boundaries act as the respectful space where both individuals can exist without fear of manipulation or control. However, when someone repeatedly crosses these boundaries, it's not a mere mistake. It's a clear sign of their intent to dominate and control. Recognizing this is vital to your emotional and mental well-being. The Stoics understood the importance of self-governance, the ability to manage one's own desires and emotions without being swayed by external forces. This principle also extends to respecting boundaries, both your own and those of others. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus believed that we should maintain a clear sense of what is within our control and what is not. One of the things firmly within our control is our personal boundaries. According to Stoicism, we should never allow external circumstances or people's behavior to dictate our peace of mind. This includes standing firm when someone is trying to infringe upon your boundaries. Just as the Stoics emphasized the importance of wisdom and self-control, they also stressed personal responsibility for one's well-being. If someone consistently violates your boundaries, it is your responsibility to assert them, no matter how difficult it may seem. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively on the importance of maintaining inner peace, and a crucial part of that is respecting your own boundaries. He noted that to live a virtuous life, you must act in accordance with your values and self-respect. If your boundaries are continually disrespected, you are allowing your inner peace and integrity to be compromised. The Stoic approach to boundaries is rooted in the concept of self-respect and personal integrity. A Stoic values their inner peace and integrity above all else, and this includes protecting their mental, emotional, and physical space. When you allow someone to disregard your boundaries, you open the door for further manipulation and control, and this can lead to emotional exhaustion, self-doubt, and even feelings of worthlessness. To protect yourself, you must practice self-respect and stand firm in defending your boundaries. The Stoics would advise you to assert your limits with clarity and calmness. Epictetus teaches that we must remember that we are responsible for how we respond to others, not for how they behave. In any situation, you can control your reaction and maintain your peace by establishing clear boundaries. Applying this Stoic principle. Here's how you can apply this Stoic principle to your daily life. Know your boundaries. Start by identifying what you need in terms of personal space, physical, emotional, and mental, and respect. What are the behaviors you are unwilling to tolerate? What makes you feel unsafe or uncomfortable? Recognizing these boundaries is the first step. Assert your boundaries clearly. When someone crosses a boundary, whether they do so intentionally or unintentionally, speak up immediately. Calmly and clearly state what you need and what you are not willing to accept. You don't need to explain yourself or justify your boundaries. Simply state them with confidence. Stay firm in your resolve. If someone continues to disrespect your boundaries, do not compromise. The Stoics would advise you to remain emotionally detached. Don't allow their behavior to disturb your peace. Instead, remain firm and, if necessary, remove yourself from the situation. This might mean limiting your interactions or cutting ties altogether if the person continues to be manipulative or controlling. Practice self-respect. Above all, maintain a deep sense of self-respect. By protecting your boundaries, you are not only respecting yourself, but you are also demonstrating to others how you expect to be treated. Self-respect means taking care of your mental and emotional well-being. Prioritizing your peace over the approval or manipulation of others. In conclusion, setting and enforcing boundaries is not only a vital part of protecting yourself from the toxic influence of a psychopath, but it is also a core element of Stoic philosophy. A Stoic person does not allow others to undermine their integrity, peace, or sense of self. By practicing self-respect and personal integrity, you can ensure that you maintain control over your own life, regardless of external pressures. You are not responsible for the behavior of others, but you are fully responsible for your own reactions and your peace of mind. Red flag 5. The absence of accountability. One of the most defining traits of a psychopath is their refusal to take responsibility for their actions. When things go wrong, they rarely acknowledge their role. Instead, they will blame others, manipulate facts, or shift the focus away from their actions. If a mistake is made or harm is caused, they will not own up to it. Psychopaths have a knack for evading accountability, often through gaslighting or shifting blame onto others, making it difficult for you to pin down the truth. This pattern of shifting blame is a powerful manipulation tactic, as it prevents them from facing the natural consequences of their behavior. If they never admit wrongdoing, they can continue their harmful actions without feeling guilt or remorse. This is not only a sign of their lack of conscience, but also a red flag that they are willing to harm others in pursuit of their own goals. Contrast this with Stoic accountability, where a Stoic is fully responsible for their actions, thoughts, and emotions. The Stoics teach that we have control only over how we respond to life, and that includes taking full responsibility for the choices we make. In Stoic thought, accountability is a crucial element of personal growth and moral integrity. In Stoic philosophy, accountability is not just about acknowledging mistakes, but taking full responsibility for one's actions, whether the outcome is positive or negative. Marcus Aurelius emphasized the importance of acknowledging one's role in any situation, reflecting on it, and learning from it. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." The idea here is simple. Focus on what you can control, your actions, and take full responsibility for them. The Stoic approach to life encourages personal responsibility as a cornerstone of emotional resilience. In their view, we are responsible for how we respond to the world and how we hold ourselves accountable for our decisions. When we make mistakes, the Stoic response is not to blame others, but to examine ourselves, acknowledge the error, and use it as an opportunity to improve. In Stoicism, Accountability means acknowledging and accepting the consequences of your actions, regardless of external circumstances. A Stoic understands that they are not responsible for everything that happens to them, but they are responsible for how they respond. This includes their behavior, decisions, and emotional reactions. When things go wrong, a Stoic does not point the finger at others or deny their role. Instead, they take responsibility for what they can control and seek to learn from the situation. The core lesson here is that personal accountability is a powerful tool for growth. If a mistake occurs, the Stoic does not deny, deflect, or project blame. They take ownership of their actions, admit fault if necessary, and work toward improving their future responses. This self-reflection and accountability create an environment of growth and learning, as opposed to one of denial and shifting blame. In contrast to the psychopath, who avoids accountability, you can apply Stoic accountability in your own life when dealing with toxic people, including those with psychopathic tendencies. The key is to recognize that while you are not responsible for their actions, you are responsible for your response to them. This acknowledgement of personal agency is essential to maintaining your emotional peace and well-being. For instance, when a psychopath shifts the blame to you, you don't need to engage in their manipulative games. Instead, you can stay grounded in your own integrity, acknowledge that their behavior is not your fault, and focus on what you can control, your response. If their actions cause harm, you can choose to address the situation calmly, set boundaries, or remove yourself from the toxic environment. You don't need to play along with their narrative of manipulation. In this way, personal accountability is not about accepting fault for others' actions, but about owning your own role in the situation. The Stoics remind us that we cannot control what others do, but we can control how we respond to them, ensuring that we maintain our integrity and peace. The absence of accountability in a psychopath can make you feel powerless or responsible for their actions. However, the Stoic approach empowers you to regain control. By acknowledging that you are not responsible for their behavior, you free yourself from the emotional manipulation they may attempt. You maintain responsibility over your own thoughts, responses, and actions, creating a boundary that protects your mental peace. The psychopath's refusal to take accountability enables them to continue causing harm without consequence. On the other hand, Stoic accountability offers a path to self-empowerment. By taking responsibility for your own actions and responses, you not only protect yourself from manipulation, but also grow stronger in your resilience and clarity. The key takeaway here is that you are in control of your mind, your actions, and your emotional responses. This is the true power that no one can take from you. As we've explored, psychopaths can be incredibly manipulative, using their charm, emotional manipulation, lack of empathy, disregard for boundaries, and refusal to take accountability to control and harm others. These 5 red flags are not just signs of toxic behavior, but indicators of someone who is dangerous to your emotional well-being. In light of Stoic principles, we've learned how to recognize and protect ourselves from these harmful traits. The Stoic teachings give us a framework to better understand and navigate these situations with wisdom and clarity. Let's quickly recap how these red flags align with Stoic principles. Overwhelming charm aligns with Stoic discernment. We must not be swayed by surface-level impressions or emotions. Instead, we should judge based on actions, not charm. Inconsistent behavior and emotional manipulation teach us the Stoic principle of self-control. We cannot allow others to dictate our emotions. The key is to remain calm and detach from external chaos. Lack of empathy and moral compass underscores the Stoic ideal of virtue. True integrity is grounded in justice, kindness, and honor. We must align ourselves with those who share these virtues and distance ourselves from those who do not. Disrespect for boundaries reinforces Stoic values of self-respect and personal integrity. By setting and respecting boundaries, we protect our emotional peace and avoid manipulation. The lack of accountability reminds us of the Stoic principle of taking responsibility for our actions, but also recognizing that we are not responsible for others' behaviors. We have the power to control our responses, not their actions. While you cannot control the actions of others, you can control how you respond. The most effective way to protect yourself is by recognizing these red flags early and disengaging emotionally from toxic situations. Your peace of mind and emotional well-being are your responsibility. No one can take them from you unless you allow them to. If someone threatens that peace, the Stoic approach is simple. Remove yourself from the situation with clarity, purpose, and strength. You are the guardian of your own peace. Practice discernment, maintain emotional detachment, hold yourself to virtuous standards, set healthy boundaries, and always take responsibility for your reactions. These Stoic principles will ensure that no one can manipulate you or compromise your inner calm. Which of these red flags have you noticed in your own life? Have you ever encountered someone like this, and how did you handle it? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this video resonated with you, share it with someone who might need to hear it. By reflecting on your own experiences and sharing your journey with others, you not only empower yourself, but also help others who might be facing similar situations. Stay true to your Stoic principles and let your peace remain unshaken.